Good morning, this is Sarah, your healthy carnivore in the UK. Not wearing anything particularly flattering, and my hair, as usual, has been abandoned. Maybe next year my channel will be all about glamour and I'll be all thin and glowing hair, but I'm just building up to that. All my decisions now are building up to that image of myself in 12 months' time. I'm on day 68 today. 68! So I'm pretty happy about that and feeling better and stronger and more determined. It's not just determined. Willpower is no longer required. My body just wants me to eat this way. So I'm so happy. So the good news on this video is, one, I'm at day 68. So I've got about 297 days to go before I hit my 1 year carniversary, which will be happening. And the other bit of good news is that yesterday in my workplace, we had a Macmillan coffee morning. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you know what that is, but if you don't know, it's basically where you make and sell lots and lots and lots of treat food to raise money to support cancer patients. Now, so the good news is day 68 and didn't have any of the cake. Treat food. Don't want to even say the word because it annoys me. Now that's the end of the good news. So if you come here to check that I'm still on the wagon, we are done. And you could just click off now because I think the rest of the video is going to be a bit more upsetting. I will be talking about my mum who died, and I will be talking about whether or not we should be eating sugar and whether we should be feeding sugar to cancer patients. So that's where the video is going to go. So if you've just come in to check, I guess we're done. Eat your meat, drink the water, have an amazing day and thrive. See you later. Now, for those of you that want to hear the misery, Macmillan coffee morning to help support cancer patients. Now, most of you that follow this channel will know that I lost my mum a couple of years ago to cancer. And one of the many memories I've got, I have lots of memories of that time. But do you know what the very last thing she consumed was? I'm not going to say food because it is as far away from food as it gets. It wasn't food. It was poison. It was poison. But do you know she had the very last morsel of something going into her stomach, because I can't call it nutrition, I can't call it food, were these nutritional shakes. Now, I know that most people think of Ensure when we're thinking about these shakes. Quite similar ingredients to what's in baby formula, but let's gloss over that for a minute. They want us hooked early to the seed oils and the sugar. But my mum totally trusted the fact that her oncologist said to her, and her dietitian said to her, it doesn't matter what you eat as long as you get the calories in. Now, this is where the whole calories in, calories out versus nutrition really comes to a head. Because the very last thing that she popped into her mouth was something called Fortisip, which is just another one of these brands, similar to Ensure. Different shovel, same shit. Do you know what I mean? And I looked up the ingredients this morning just to show you. I haven't memorized them and I haven't written them down because I've been quite busy this morning. So, but look, you have got on there maltodextrin and sugar as, probably second or third ingredient. And then you have got vegetable oils, and it does say vegetable oils on there. I think it probably says sunflower and rapeseed, but I was so mind blown by how many there were. I was never going to recognize and remember all of them. Actually, I said recognize by mistake, but that's a good point too. How many on there do you actually know what they are and what they do to your body? Interesting. Don't think this jumper really works on me, but I'm going to keep going. Next year, I'm going to look fabulous. You see, you watch. So and I still have the image of her. She died at home and we had to get a hospital bed into her. She didn't want anyone else to look after her, just me. And we had to get the hospital bed in. She thought she was coming back out of that hospital bed, but I knew she wasn't. And I can still remember her being propped up, her whole body in complete agony and turmoil because her organs had all packed up basically, and all the fluid that should have been in the organs was now all around the body, causing just toxicity in every millimeter of her body, which I do not recommend anyone having to witness. And I saw this image of her sitting there with a little 40-sip bottle. Mocha flavour was her favourite. That was her favourite flavour. She couldn't tolerate the other ones, so she used to get them on prescription. The NHS were more than happy to subscribe, whichever word you want to use, prescribe these horrible shit show chemical shitstorm shakes to her. This is the ingredients. I think you know, it's disgusting. But of course you think, now, does sugar feed cancer? Does it activate cancer? Does sugar get cancer excited? And of course you type into Google, does sugar feed cancer? Or, encourage cancer? And the top articles will always be, I always say, go by the polar opposite of what those top 10 articles say. The AI on Google said, no, there's absolutely no way that sugar feeds cancer cells. So absolutely fine, doesn't matter what you eat, you're not going to affect it. It said basically that it indirectly affects it because of the fact that it makes you put on weight, and it's the weight that gives you the cancer. Okay, fine, right, good, we've sorted that out. So then I looked up an article by Harvard and I was looking for, I'm beating around the bush now, I'm mixing things up. My mum had several PET scans, PET scans. Can't remember what it stands for, but luckily I'm not a doctor or a scientist, so it really doesn't matter what it stands for, but it is a scan to see how your cancer is, and they inject you with some kind of radioactive glucose syrup stuff into your veins, and they actually do say in the article, and I'm going to pop it up here, the screenshot of what it said. It basically said, and it's what I suspected, but I thought, let's put it up there. Let's see what Harvard say about a PET scan and why we need to put glucose in. And it said that malignant cancer cells absorb and utilize more sugar than all the other healthy cells. But Google said that cancer cells are not interested in sugar, and they're not. They don't take it in at all, and it's got nothing to do with anything. No. But Harvard is saying a PET scan is injecting yourself with a load of glucose, a load of syrup to activate and get all the cancer cells excited so they can see them on the screen. So cancer is being affected by sugar, and it's making those cells all excited and jumping around and going, yay. I believe from that, I'm not your doctor, I'm not anyone's doctor or scientist, but I believe that sugar does feed cancer. I think cancer loves sugar. And I have seen plenty of people over the last 10 years reverse and reduce and go into complete remission on cancer by removing sugar and carbs from their diet. But Google says sugar doesn't matter. You can have as much sugar as you want. I had a look at the 40-sip, the brand that my mum had. This last kind of drink that she consumed. We're not going to call it food because that is so far a stretch. It's actually unbelievable. And I looked at the picture at the top. Look at these people. This is the image that they think. This is the image they're putting into people. Look at that. Look at those sort of slightly older, by that I mean people in their maybe 50s or 60s. Is it whitewater rafting, kayaking, boating, something like that? I screenshotted it. I did a screenshot of this hours ago. But look at it. That's what they want. So somebody like my mum, who she would never look it up anyway. My mum was never interested in looking up ingredients or side effects or any potential problems. It was just, the doctor has prescribed me this thing, so I am just going to take this thing. She would never look it up. But anyone that was interested in finding out what they were drinking could look up 40-sip and see this image of these highly active. But from my experience, this isn't something I've seen on a video somewhere. My experience of someone taking a Fortisip shake is not someone vibrant and full of health, scooting their way down a river and kayaking. And my image is someone at the end of their life, grey, ashen-faced, wondering when their time's up. That is my image. That is my image of someone drinking Fortisip. So I'd try and take things round to her house, like bone broth or things like that. So I thought it would be more healing for her, but she didn't want the bone broth. She wanted the sugar, you know. And then on the bottle it says something like the perfect balance of protein, fat and carbohydrates. That fat is coming from highly toxic seed oils that are absolutely guaranteed to mess you up one way or another, to either give you insulin resistance or get into your fat cells and give you cancer everywhere. Whew. See, I told you this video was depressing. My thing is, you know, my personal opinion is, don't go to a coffee morning. I cannot go to a Macmillan coffee morning and sit there eating cake and then putting money in a pot to support cancer victims, when I know that in that sort of charity, only about 6 or 7% of the money goes to the victims anyway. You know, the person actually, the CEO in charge of that company is the one making all the money. So even if you do go to one of these mornings and you raised, you know, £200, maybe £14 of that went to the actual victims, and the other money went to the person who's now sitting on a nice cushy little island somewhere, eating meat and living a right old life, laughing at all of us lot, eating our cake, drinking our Fortisips and putting money in a pot for them. That's how I see it. That's how I see the coffee morning. Didn't want to go anywhere near it. It's carrying on again today because there was so much cake. There's loads left. I want nothing to do with it. I don't even want to think about it, but I've talked about it because I felt like it was just, you know, I want to find a little something to talk about every day. On day 68, I just want to talk about the fact that I had absolutely no interest of going to a eat as much as you can, treat food, charity event. Nope, no interest whatsoever. And I know that these Macmillan nurses are doing their best. I'm not blaming the Macmillan nurses themselves. I know they work incredibly hard to try and reassure the patients. I'm not slamming the people. Like I've always said, I'm not slamming people that working on the ground. You know, the nurses in the hospitals, the Macmillan nurses that go and support these patients. I'm not slamming them. They work incredibly hard to try and reassure patients and to look after them. The problem isn't with them. It's much further up the tree. That's what the problem is. The mismanagement is where the problem is. So anyway, that went on a bit longer than I thought. I hope you've enjoyed my scraggy kind of Wurzel Gummidge type hair this morning. Oh. It's going to rain all day today again. So I'll be glad when this is over and we can settle down a bit to some more crisp, fresh mornings with a bit of blue sky in them. Wherever you are, eat your meat, drink the water. Don't drink Fortisip because it's crap. And just enjoy yourself and do whatever it takes to be healthy, happy and thrive. And I will see you tomorrow on day 69. Take care, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.